Ukrainian President Zelensky making an historic visit to Washington, D.C., meeting with President Biden and Congress to discuss the current state of the war.
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer served as the national security advisor for Trump in 2020 and is the president of the London Center for Policy Research. And he joins us now. Tony, great to see you.
Tony.
Love the red on Christmas morning. Very festive. Merry Christmas.
That's right. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Kilmany. Merry Christmas, Katrina. Good to see you both. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, of course. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful and very chilly, we might add, day. But we still have important business to discuss. So we want to break down Zelensky's trip, of course, to Washington, D.C. Would you consider this a successful visit when it comes to the Ukraine war effort against Russia?
So, yes and no. I think it's interesting that while he says we've helped him, he wants more. And it's like, Kilmany, let's be honest here. If it wasn't for President Trump changing the policy to give lethal aid to the Ukrainians and following through and providing training, all that training is now paying off. And that happened all under the Trump administration. So now he's coming back and saying the money that they set aside, $45 billion, is not enough. I think we're getting into dangerous territory because right now our focus should be, like we've done in every other major conflict of the last century, was seeking peace. Right now, the Russians are preparing to return to the offensive. 1.5 million men getting ready to go back on the offensive sometime within the next 4 to 6 weeks. I think everybody should be looking for an off-ramp. That's not what I heard from Zelensky. That's not what I'm hearing from the administration at this point in time.
You know, Tony, President Zelensky did tell Congress that he proposed a peace plan to President Biden, but you're saying that you don't think either Putin or Zelensky are really looking at an off-ramp at this point. So what do you think could have been, I guess, in that proposal, and why do you think it seems like things are going in the opposite direction?
So I think in many ways there's incentivized spending. All the spending, half this money, remember, is being spent in Washington to actually go to the defense industry to manufacture things. Not necessarily a bad thing. We now have to re-equip our forces with all the weapons we gave them. But my point is, right now, the people of Ukraine are suffering. We're talking about many right now, at the very moment we're talking in Christmas, not having power, not having water. It's miserable. So it's time we look at what the human costs of this war really are. And we should also seek to hold Russia accountable, all the war crimes and everything else. So you're never going to get to that until you have some level of peace, some level of agreement to stop the fighting. And my concern is if we don't intercede as the best friend that both these parties could have to bring peace forward, we're going to see immense suffering and immense loss of life. And I think that it's time that we, as the adults in the room, the United States, try to do something to get people to the peace table. Even if both sides don't want to do it, we need to do what's best for the people of Ukraine.
Tony, 305 days now into this conflict. What are you projecting for the next month or so when it comes to the Ukraine war effort?
So I do believe that Putin is not going to back down. I think he's amassed these 1.5 million troops. They're waiting for conditions to be more appropriate for armor. And remember, Kilmany, their corruption, their inability to actually be a good military has got them where they're at. The Ukrainians have been immensely effective. The technology we've given them will continue to be effective. The unfortunate thing is this: unless Ukraine gets additional military forces, troops, there's not going to be any way that they can continue the offensive they're on right now. So unfortunately, I see things drawing to a stalemate sometime in the spring. Neither side has sufficient combat power to win. Therefore, to continue the fight, it should not happen. I think, again, our best interest is to prevent the loss of life. But unfortunately, I see in about 6 weeks more offensive operations from the Russians, more loss of life. It's going to be bloody if we don't help get something fixed.
Yeah, and Tony, just about 2 hours ago, Vladimir Putin claims he's saying Russia is ready to negotiate over Ukraine. However, he's accusing Kyiv and its Western allies of refusing to negotiate. So that sounds a lot more like, here's what I'm saying, but what I'm doing is something completely different.
The Russians are masters of that, Katrina. That's what they always do. So again, we've got to be the adults. The United States has always led in efforts to get, Balkans, the other wars we've been in. This is another situation where we have to be the ones who basically try to set conditions for both. Remember, we're trying to protect NATO as well. Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, all the other nations. We don't want an expansion. So the best course of action is to take him up on that. If Putin's serious, if Zelensky's serious, let's get folks sitting down at the table at some third country and start to really put into motion an effort to stop this war and find a way to push both sides back peacefully. That's the only way we can stop the massive loss of life and suffering of the Ukrainian people as quickly as we can.
And Tony, just quickly before we go,
Sure.
Talk to us just a little bit about what you see projecting into 2023 as some of the major foreign policy issues that the Biden administration is going to be facing this upcoming year.
Well, China, look, we're having issues with that right now. We've got fentanyl being sent through Latin America, through our southwest border. That's huge. We've got COVID issues, which are still issues. By the way, underreported, China's under a huge COVID outbreak right now. And I think we need to go look at that. And we get to look at how we can continue to strengthen our military to do those things to protect our interests globally. I think we're on the right track on some issues, but not all. So it's going to be a mixed year.
Tony, great to see you. Merry Christmas.
Great seeing you both. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.